All right, all right, all right, everyone. Come on in, come on in. We'd like to welcome you back to another Ask Us Anything. This is your opportunity. Welcome to another Q&A. I am Maggie. You might know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher. My co-faculty member is here, Lucy. We'll introduce ourselves and let you all know what we're going to be doing tonight. The agenda is actually up to you. We're going to be doing these from time to time, a couple times a month or more often if you all need it. But we are starting the finishing school for the modern woman, and class starts on Saturday, this Saturday. So if you have been waiting, registration is still open. We'll ask any questions that you all have, and have some fun tonight. So, a little bit about me. You all may know me from my cooking channel, but I'm also a mom of two teenage boys. I was married for 10 years, and I always say that. I did get caught up in a little bit of that modern woman mindset. So, unfortunately, the marriage did end in divorce. I married my college boyfriend, met him at 18, was married at 25. And since then, I have been in another long-term relationship with a very traditional man, which requires me to do a lot of work to get on the program. And that's part of what I want to share with our students. I am also a senior business analyst. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Spelman College. I have an MBA in technology management, IT certifications, and a lot of other things on paper. So if there's anything that I know or have done that could be helpful, happy to answer any questions that you all have. But Lucy, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Maggie. Good to see you again.
Lucy.
Again, I am not as eloquent as Maggie presenting my background, so I'm going to be brief. I've been married with my husband 16 years. I was previously married for 11 years. So I guess if you add up the marriages, I think I've been married for what, 34 years or so. So I understand some of the ups and downs on good marriages and not so great marriages. And I met my friend Maggie through Kevin Samuels. Was it Maggie? Well, it was through Kevin Samuels, and then we started talking about the state of society right now and how some of the younger generation has been maybe forgotten when it comes to femininity, etiquette, and elegance. And somehow we got together and created the finishing school for the modern woman. Oh, background. I have a bachelor's on vocational education. I've been in the corporate world for us from when I was very young, probably I want to say when I was since 21. But before that, my mom and my sisters, we used to deliver newspapers at 4 o'clock in the morning to make money for the family and so forth. So we've been working since we're very young. Um, but we do understand and appreciate the presence of a father and the men in our lives.
Absolutely. So, as we are talking and sharing with you all, again, if you're on YouTube, the link to join the conversation, ask your question has been pinned at the top of the chat. I will also put it in the chat here. You can be camera on or you can be camera off if you are a lady of any age, even if you're a gentleman and you have a question that maybe Lucy and I can shed some light onto from our experience. We would love to. So, if you're hearing about this for the first time, Lucy and I announced this about 6 weeks ago. We've been working very, very hard. The finishing school for the modern woman is going to be an online finishing school, and I will share my screen and I'll walk you all through some more about it. We're actually going to give you all of you, a little bit of a sneak peek. So, a little bit of housekeeping for our students. The Class starts on this Saturday. So it will be Saturday school. It will be taught live. Unlike a lot of online courses where it's pre recorded, and there's nothing wrong with that, our class will be recorded, but it will be taught live for our students to interact with us and ask us questions in real time. So it will be 12 p.m. Eastern. It will be 60 minutes of lecture, and then we'll have a 30-minute Q&A. So we're giving you all a little bit of a taste of the Q&A in these sessions here. Again, they will be recorded. We have an 8-week curriculum, and our students will have lifetime access. In addition to Lucy and I teaching, we have several guest speakers who will be coming in. There are slides, there are workbooks, and we actually have an assessment that we've put together for our students. Who are actually going to allow you all to take it so you can see some of the work that we've done. Our students will get the benefit of us helping them answer some of these questions, but we will move into that. So if you've been thinking about it, if you know any lady from, I'd say, age 15 to 50, Lucy and I are both older women. I'm 47 and Lucy is a beautiful 57. I want to be like her when I grow up. We've had life experience, both corporate, marriage, family. We've been on our own refinement journey. And I always say we've never arrived. We can always get better. So that's what we want to promote here. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So what I'm going to do, if you all do, feel free to, you can either type it in. If you want to put a Q in front of the question, you can do that. Or you can, click the link, and again, you can be camera on or camera off. So I think what I'll do is I'll start with the assessment, since that's new this time around, and then if anybody has questions about the curriculum, the link is in the description. You can see everything that's going to be included in the course. Hello, hello. We got a question already. Thank you for the compliment, Lady Novoa. I appreciate you so much. So the condemned says, question, in light of recent events, that looks like a brick wall, how would public behavior be taught in the finishing school to keep ladies as safe as possible when outside in the wild? Can you give us a sneak peek? Great question. All right, I'll take a stab at answering this, and then Lucy can definitely give her opinion. I really like the word that you have put here, condemned, as far as safe. And safety is important. You know, one of the things that Lucy and I promote is that in traditional gender roles, men and women, we are equally valued, but we are not equal. We're built very different. And ladies, believe me, I learned the hard way. When you think you want to get out in front and you want to be, running things, that's not how you're going to feel. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, when you're 45, 55, even 35. So to answer the question, public behavior, for me, it all really starts with a mindset and just knowing what type of behavior is acceptable and what type of behavior is not. And unfortunately, so many lines have gotten blurred with what's feminine and what's masculine. We're going to be talking a lot about that in our class. But as far as keeping ladies safe, definitely you want to make sure that you surround yourself with, if you can, people that are going to have your best interest at heart. If you're going to be out, be very mindful about who you communicate with and how you communicate. We're going to talk about one of the things that I've had to work on is tone of voice and how you engage in conversation, what is acceptable and what is not, because a lot of things that we think about, oh, it's no big deal, instantly it seems aggressive to a man, and you are not in any position to go up against that. So those are some of the things that come to mind. Lucy, what would you say?
I think also the fact that we don't know exactly how the incident happened. We have um, some people that were there in that incident. It seems to me that there was this back and forth with two people that did not know each other. The fact that she was trying to have a this for that with a man that she had no idea. That's not a feminine behavior. So we should try to keep that this for that type behavior with people that we don't know whether they're men or women, just limited. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in a situation where, we're going to ruin our night. Even if we were going out dancing with friends around, apparently she had other women friends around her that did not stick up for her too. That goes back to what Maggie said. Make sure that the group of friends that you're with are people that are going to be either protecting you, or and protecting doesn't mean that they're going to uh, get in front to start a physical fight. It's also being feminine, being soft and delicate, because I can tell you, ladies, that the more delicate you are, the more the men are going to want to protect you. They're going to see that softness in you. They're not going to want to have some random guy talk to you in a way that might get you upset. So we don't know the situation, but again, it seems to me that she was out of her league. She was involved in a group with all men. No respectable lady goes out at night and starts getting into some kind of verbal discussion with a group of all men.
I absolutely love that. I could go on and on with that. So hopefully condemned that answers. But if you all are new to this space, I'm so humbled and grateful that Lucy and I have such strong protection in this community. Specifically from the men who have um, offered it, not because we've asked, but because we carry ourselves in a way that doesn't incite bad behavior. And so I would say we make it easier for them to look out for us. So hopefully that answers that question. Thank you for the question, Condemned. Keep them coming. We got Miley Morico. She says, what would be a gentle way of recommending this course to women who would surely benefit? I love this question. And again, as you all are coming in, the Finishing School for the Modern Woman is our life's work. It is available. Registration is still open. I'm actually going to drop the link in the chat so you all can check out the curriculum and see if you or someone you know would benefit. Um, I would say, oh, I dropped the wrong link. I'm sorry. I put the link to click if you all want to chat. You can click on that one as well. I'm trying not to mess up as I multitask. Okay. So I love what you said, Miley, about gently recommending, and that that applies to so many things. The way we request something, from anyone, the way we make a suggestion. We want to be mindful how we come across. Um, I would definitely share this free content that we're doing. The Finishing School is an investment, but Lucy and I plan to continue to have some type of forum for ladies who want to kind of see who we are and what we're about, because we know you all have found us in various means. Some of us, some of you know us, some of you, it's new. I would also send the link to the curriculum because we have opened up some of the sections as a free preview. So you can take a look at the workbooks. We're going to go over the assessment tonight. So you can have some visibility into that. And then lastly, I would just say, one of the things that I do, I try to listen more than I speak. And that's one of the things that I've had to work on because as women we just want to say. I used to think as I was speaking, and now I work really hard to think before I'm speaking. So in listening, I listen to what other people say. And if they've ever said, man, I was told, I'm just really aggressive and kind of masculine. I'm thinking of myself, right? I wasn't aware that I shout when I speak. I had to get that feedback. I wasn't aware that my gestures kind of look like a dude, just grabbing a drink and throwing it back and not being elegant at all. And none of this means that you got to give up your quirks and your personality, but we can all get better. So, long winded version of, if this is for someone who has mentioned that they have some areas that they want to refine, femininity, elegance, or etiquette. I think that's kind of a shoe in. If it's somebody that you think could benefit from it, I would probably position it as, I heard about this course. It seems really interested to me. I'm thinking about it, even if that's, something that you don't need necessarily right now. Would you take a look at it and tell me what you think? So it's almost, a softening and kind of saying, I'm thinking about this for me. I'd love your feedback, as opposed to, you need to get right and I would take this course. Lucy, what do you think about that?
Excellent points, Maggie. And Condemia's question also brought up a good point. I'm wondering if maybe one of our guests could be somebody from the law enforcement environment, or to talk about safety for ladies. Maybe later on, I was thinking that we could include that as one of our guests later on. And when it comes to maybe asking someone gently, if they have mentioned that they're interested in attending some sort of training this way, it's great. You can guide them to us or to anybody else that's in the YouTube, social media environment. But there are people that no matter how much you guide them gently, or try to give them hints, they're not going to want to do it. And that's where you just leave it there. You can suggest, you can guide, you can even send them examples. If they show no desire to learn about these just societal behaviors, then you just leave it alone. Because again, there are some people that are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be, they would rather learn on their own rather than being guided by others on some of the given some of that information.
I love that. Thank you so much, Lucy. And thank you for the question, Miley. I think this is a great segue into what we wanted to share with you all tonight. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to drop a link in the chat to the assessment, but I'll tell you all what it is. We'll just kind of high level go through the curriculum, and these questions, you can answer them for yourself or somebody that you may know who could benefit from this. Send them the assessment and see if it's something that they want to do. But Lucy hit the nail on the head. This community is not about shouting anybody down and saying you have to do this. But if you have been looking for a community of women that believe in promoting our softness and enhancing our femininity in all of its forms, there's multiple reasons why you would want to be the best version of yourself. It could be for relationship. I always say it could be for, a job interview. It could be for business or investments or meeting the in-laws. There's so many reasons why, but if people aren't ready, they just aren't ready, and that's okay. Don't let it stop you. And I just say, leave them where they are and you keep doing what you want to and need to do. All right. Oh, yes, I see that. Condemned.
Hmm. I was thinking about him as I was talking. So I think he's within your area, Maggie. I think he's around your area.
I
So
think he's in Atlanta. The
mhm.
only thing, and we can talk about this offline,
I
Lucy,
know
all of our
it's the
speakers.
first man. Yes. Yep. Yeah.
But condemned, that's a
Yes.
great, great point. So let me share the curriculum with you all, and then we'll take a look at the guest speakers. But I love that. We're definitely open. Okay, so let's do this here. I am going to start by giving you all a link and then explaining to you all what you're going to see. Okay, so if you go to the link for the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, if you're interested in sharing or if you're interested in um, previewing for yourself, let me see here. It's showing the admin view, but that's fine. Okay, So if you're ready, you can just click on the button that says enroll now. But I do want to show you all the curriculum. Again, this is an 8-week course, and we have added a pre-work session. So for those of our students who are enrolled and ready to begin on Saturday, we want you to go ahead and take this assessment form. Now, the reason that we have this assessment form is so that you can kind of start thinking about what you're going to be learning and how ready you are and what areas that you think are stronger or weaker for you in this space, and give us feedback so that how we can help you refine, because there's so many different categories here. Some are going to be a long stretch, some are going to be more low hanging fruit. So we're going to go through it together, but mindset is a huge part of getting ready for any type of transformation. All right, so let's go back here. We'll do it this way. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a look at the assessment in just a moment, but you all can see here our first week. So on this Saturday, session one will be the introduction. So if you are not familiar with any of this work, if it's all Greek to you, this is going to be a great beginner course. And you can see here each session, we have dedicated slides that Lucy and I will be teaching. You will have a workbook. I'll click on the preview really quick so that you all can see. This is available. You can click on the link. Each of our sessions will have a downloadable and editable workbook for our students to fill out that corresponds with the lesson. All right. So this is going to be available for all of our students. Let me go back to the curriculum. Let's see. I'm in the admin page. Here we go. All right. Week two, we're going to talk about confidence, self-confidence, not in an arrogant way, but being confident in who you are as a woman and having that poise that never ages, always being able to feel comfortable in any situation. We're going to talk about dining in week three. You know, that one is near and dear to my heart. But whether you're having, guests at home or whether you're going out, we're going to talk about proper dining in different situations. We women are social creatures. We're going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts, the faux pas, what you want to make sure that how you show up with your personal brand whenever you step outside of the house. Business etiquette. You heard Lucy and I, we both are corporate, and there are certain things, especially now, that could use some reminding, and some things that just should not be done, and some things that should be done in a business setting. We're going to talk about that. Proper communication, so much of it. International etiquette, near and dear to our hearts. Lucy and I are both immigrants. We come from strong international families. So we're going to talk about that. We live in a global society, and you never know who you're going to be interacting with. So we want to make sure that our students are prepared for any company. We're going to wrap up in session 7, and then in session 8, we have a guest speaker. Sarah Badenova is a former champion ballroom dancer who's going to talk to us about feminine movement and how to move more gracefully as a woman, and different things you can do without even speaking that show your more feminine side. A few more things here, and then I'm going to let Lucy chime in. So scholarships have been awarded. So thank you to everyone who applied. You should have received a response by now if our sponsors chose to sponsor you for a scholarship. If we have any gentlemen or ladies that want to donate either a full or partial scholarship, it's not too late. You can let us know, and you will select who you want to send to the finishing school. And then what we're creating here is, as we have these Q&As, as we have these type of sessions, we are recording them. As you all will see, I'll just do a quick preview. And we have so here's Maggie, the sessions from previously with the closed caption. So we're building out a library for our students. So if you miss anything during lecture, you'll be able to access it. All right. So Lucy, I'm going to pause there because I said a lot. Do you want to add anything about the curriculum?
I just wanted to talk about the assessment form, the needs assessment, and that also helps us as your teachers, as your guides, to know whether we're hitting the mark. Because if you tell us, I want to know about, how to prepare for a speaking engagement, what to wear for a black tie. So we want to make sure that we are hitting those items that you are telling us you want to learn. So the needs assessment is really important for both of us. We learn about you, and you know that we are hitting those important items that you think were important enough to write them as part of the assessment form. Everything else, I think you've touched on all of the sessions for the 8 weeks, and I think that we're good. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat,
I didn't
or
see
if we
any.
want to go ahead and move to the assessment form.
Let's go ahead and do that. So I don't see any questions. So I'm going to move over to share the assessment form. So I put the link in the chat. So again, for our students, we want you to fill this form out. None of the questions are required, but this is how you can have your baseline before we begin. And also, like Lucy said, help us help you. There's so much to take in here. And so we want to make sure that we give you the results that you need. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the assessment form. So this is a Google form that has been embedded into your student dashboard. So when you enroll for the finishing school, all students will create their own username and password. And you noticed in the curriculum, we have the slides, the workbook, the videos, and also the Zoom link. So you'll have everything that you need right there. And this is where you're going to do your assessment form. So let's take a look and let's go through them together and let's talk a little bit about the questions, and you would just answer them yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about the rationale. So again, the purpose of this is just to assess your basic prerequisites. We're focusing on femininity, elegance, and etiquette. But again, ask us any questions you have. So I did start by just asking, are you excited for finishing school to begin? And you're just going to answer that from not at all to absolutely. How prepared do you feel? Sometimes people are a little bit, they've done some of this work before. Maybe they just need a refresher. Maybe it's all new to them. Then also asking, level of, I don't want to say anxiety, but sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes when you look at where you are and where you want to be, I know sometimes I'm thinking, man, that's a long way to go. But we really just want to get a sense of the level of our students that are coming into the finishing school so we can adjust our teaching style and make sure that you all have everything that you need. A few questions and then I'll let Lucy chime in. We have those on the radio button. Then we also have, why did you enroll in finishing school? And what do you hope to learn from the course? So again, the curriculum is posted, but like Lucy said, if someone has let's say an interview, or they're meeting the in-laws, or they're hosting a dinner party, or whatever it is, and they have something specific, we want to make sure that we address that. Lucy, did you want to add anything so far?
And it helps us see what your goals and expectations are for the at the end of this course. This is what you're going to be um, learning. This is what you're going to be understanding. So it seems like it's a not as important, but to us as the teachers, it's very important because we get to know you. We get to know what your needs are. We get to know what you expect at the end of the session. So even though it seems like it's just a little form, it helps us see your level of understanding, where you, how knowledgeable you are about some of these sessions. Maybe you're not at all. Maybe you have a lot, and we might be able to tap you on some of those questions that we don't have the answers to help us in the discussion. So that form is, as far as us goes, it's very important for us because we get to know you and we get to understand what your expectations at the end of the course is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll go back to the survey so you all can see the other questions on there. But Lucy and I, not only do we have life experience, but we've also invested a lot in our own personal and professional development. And so it's not like we can just give everything. This is, taken 40, 50 years to cultivate. I know that I've taken several classes and continue to study. I'm actually taking another style course next week. So I'm continuing to invest in myself, and I want to make sure that I'm bringing what's most helpful to our students. All right, so we will continue on here in the survey. So you see, we have just some basic questions here. Have you ever studied femininity? How much do you know about it? I hate to say it, but in our community, in our culture today, I mean, just any community, there's just this blending of, maybe it started with good intentions, men and women, there's no distinction. We absolutely believe that men and women are different. There are certain characteristics that are more naturally feminine, and there are some that are more masculine. A lot of times people just don't know, and a lot of it is unspoken and primal. So we're going to talk about that. And so we want to know kind of the beginning understanding about that. Also, we want to know kind of where you are as far as studying elegance. Elegance is really an umbrella. And I know sometimes people think, oh my gosh, elegance, is that like old and stuffy and just super, out of touch? It's not. I mean, if you all know anything about me, I have kept all of my quirks, but, elegantly moving in a way that shows the best side of yourself so that you are considerate of others. That's really the essence of it. Simplicity and being considerate of others is what I try to impart to the students. So I want to know where everybody's kind of coming in with their level of knowledge of what is elegant and what is not. Likewise, etiquette. And we're going to do a deeper dive in our class, but we want to know, have you taken any etiquette classes before coming to this finishing school? And the etiquette classes, etiquette really is about the set of rules that apply to a certain situation in society. So they change depending on culture, depending on event, depending on audience, but it's really just about giving you all the tools and knowing some basics so that you can fit in and feel comfortable in any environment. Lucy, anything to add to those before I continue on?
When you mentioned elegance, I just thought about the movie Pride and Prejudice, how they're dancing their little, with their little outfits, and they're very particular about what they're wearing and who they're talking to. So, yeah, it's not that specific, it's not that ancient, but it is important to know who is the elder in a room when you walk in. Who do you say hello to? Do you speak to them in a casual manner, or do you speak to them in a more official manner? How to look at them in the eyes? Do you just give them their hand? Do you allow them to kiss your hand? So all of those things are part of coming into a room and understanding some of those societal customs that have not been shared for many, many years, because again, this society is going too fast, and we have lost that part of being a little uh, softer and slower, and just making sure that those pieces are not missed because we're running around trying to get to a goal, and missing those societal factors in between.
Absolutely. Let us continue on here on the survey. So we talked about um, femininity, elegance, and etiquette. And then what's very important to me, you'll see there's some sections here where we're asking our students to rate how important these outcomes are, because I don't want to assume it's not cookie cutter. Are you interested in femininity most importantly? Or is it elegance that's important to you? Or is it knowing what's appropriate in etiquette? So we're asking our students to go ahead and rate that. And again, all of this Almost there, y'all. All of this helps us cater each session to our students. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited that this is going to be taught live. This is our first. Um, Cohort, if you will. So, our students that are going to be joining us on Saturday will each time we teach this class, the curriculum will be the same, but the focus may change a little bit based on our students because we want to give them what they need. So, very excited to know what's important to them so we can focus and bring all of those resources. I also want to know from our students, what skills are you hoping to take away from finishing school in order of importance, right? So again, we can target what we're going to be doing to help our students. I've heard from one of our sponsors, communication is huge today. And unfortunately, communication is becoming a lost art. Having a conversation, whether it's with a gentleman or whether it's with your boss or whether it's with family, what's appropriate, what's not. We're going to talk about that. But I want to know from our students, communication, dining, and then your overall appearance. Is it style? Is it grooming? Which of these are going to be most important so we can bring all of that from finishing school? Because I've taken so much of this work for years and I have so many resources to share. Then I have some personal questions in here. So we're going to do a little bit more of a dive into relationships and networking, both personal and professional. And again, our students can answer as much or as little as they want to. None of this is required, but I think one of the hidden gems, if you will, when you start to refine yourself, when you start moving differently, and you change your mindset, which is first, and then you start moving away from the things that don't help or support you. It could be something, physical that you have to get rid of, declutter. It could be relationships, it could be bad habits or behaviors. Then you start making room for the good things that you want to move towards. And a huge part of that is relationship and networking. And so when you start to associate with people who promote where you're trying to go, I think it's only natural that, hey, like you all just shared, have you considered Nathan Daly? We would have not had that if we didn't have this network in the community. And so that's one of the things I'm hugely excited about for our students, because you're going to have access to me and Lucy. This is our life's work. So this is lifetime. And so as opportunities come, you will be the beneficiary of that. Did you want to add anything, Lucy?
Yeah, and I wrote it down. When you talked about moving differently, you're probably going to also be changing the group of friendships that you have, because some of those friends are probably going to um, not understand why you're taking these classes and why you're coming here to be a little more, refined and elegant and learn about how to place your cup on the table and what to wear. Again, there's a saying, I think it's first they will ridicule, then they will make fun of you, then they will say something, and then they will want to be you. So it's going to be a little weird when you start changing the way you move around, but you will see that there's going to be a change, a positive change in the end.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And that's what this community is going to be for. Our students, we're going to be meeting every week. And then we will have additional, this is just the beginning. Lucy and I have already started talking about when it makes sense in 2024 having in-person events, whether it's teas, whether it's retreats, whether it's, you know, networking events, so many different opportunities where we can come together and actually put into practice what we're going to be teaching and learning, because you are going to need that refresher. I need that refresher. So we're going to support each other. And like Lucy said, you won't have to do this alone. We will be your teachers and help create this community. So, in addition to that, on the assessment, so I want to know from our students what's important to them. And I would be um, remiss if we didn't talk about relationships. So I want to know, are you in a relationship currently? Do you want to be in a relationship? Hopefully it's a yes and yes, but if not, this is something that Lucy and I can file away and help you be the best version of yourself so that you can get the outcomes that you want. Isn't that what the late, great Kevin Samuels used to say? So I want to know how important marriage is to you. It's hugely important to Lucy and I, Lucy and me, but I'm not going to assume that what we want, everybody else wants. So I want to know how important marriage is. And also, I want the students to assess themselves. How would you rate your wife readiness if the man of your dreams showed up? Oh, so many things that tie us to Kevin, but if he were in front of you right now and, made you an offer you couldn't refuse, are you ready to be the type of wife that you want to be and the type of wife that he needs? It's important that we think about this because a lot of times, those of us, in relationships, you just kind of start doing the thing and you really haven't talked about the roles and what's expected. I think that's really important. What does just another Mark say? Facts. You've had to leave family and friends when you started to improve myself. Yeah, it happens, you all. And, this is not something where sometimes you have to cut people off and never speak to them again, but you're going to see naturally the things that you used to think were funny, or the time that you used to spend, or the money, or the places you used to go, don't really suit the lady that you're trying to become. And so you will naturally just start to say, you know what, I think I'll pass. And it's just part of the natural growth. And it can be a little bit lonely sometimes. Believe me, I've gone through that. I'm definitely a late bloomer, but I held strong to my beliefs. And now, in my older age, it's kind of like people are like, "Where have you been?" And I was like, "I've been here in the kitchen." But, I digress. Lucy, did you want to add anything to that?
I like Wilbert Gross's comment on, can my 3-year-old join? Um, and I think that we're thinking about having some of these sessions for a younger crowd, but I'm glad that you're already thinking about your 3-year-old getting that information, because what you don't know what you don't know. So it's a good thing to start thinking about those kind of like social education opportunities that hopefully we are going to create with this.
Well, we've got a few questions coming in. Thank you all so much. So we'll take a break from the survey, and we definitely want to answer your questions. Again, the link is pinned to the top. You can ask in person, camera on or camera off, or put it in the chat. So I know Wilbert is asking, laugh out loud, if his 3-year-old baby girl can join. So what we have said for this first round of finishing school, we're setting a minimum age of 15. And I'm just saying 15 to 50. But, when I think about elder women that are just elegant and, just something to look forward to, it never ages. So we're saying 15 because the curriculum that we've put together is for young ladies, young women, and, you know, more mature women. However, we are open if the demand is there. We've thought about having a finishing school for the young woman. And that would be for our tweens or, younger, and we would adjust the curriculum and the duration for their attention span. We've also thought about having finishing school for the professional woman. Lucy and I both are corporate, and a lot of times, I've said women often think they need to compete with men as men. But Lucy and I have both been able to do well in our careers and keep our femininity. And so there are definitely ways to navigate. I work in tech, data driven. Corporate America is competitive. I work with a lot of men, it's masculine. But the way that I show up is very, very different. So we've thought about that. So, anyway, Baby girl's gonna have to wait, but I would commend you all, especially the younger ones, or those of you all that are thinking about your younger siblings or even children. In other cultures, what Lucy and I are doing is what the mothers would teach their daughters. And I think about Kevin all the time when he used to say, "Where are the older women to teach the young?" And neither Lucy or I have daughters. So this is our life's work, and this is how we want to give back. So I commend you for thinking about it at this time. Yes, Wilbert is preparing. All right, I see a couple questions here. We've got none other than Brandon L. Jett, one of the pillars in our community, so protective of this space, and one of our sponsors. And he selected a lovely lady to receive a scholarship, and she is very excited and grateful. So his question is, ladies, what are your thoughts about the graduating class testing their skills at the next Black Manosphere meetup? Kevin was a part of the first meetup and announced as a special guest for the second one. I'm definitely open. I mean, we can talk as much theory as we want, but at some point, what did the late great Kevin Samuel say? Life happens outside, and we're not going to get it right the first time. This is something that we have to practice. But I'm definitely open to networking when we get back to the forum. You'll see some more questions about that. But I think it's a great idea. What about you, Lucy?
I love it. Great idea. I can't wait to meet you all in person, going to Atlanta and just have some time together. And that would be, the Manosphere, those meetups, they're in different places though, not necessarily in Atlanta, right?
I believe so. I was talking to Brandon once. I know this year it's in Atlanta. I believe Lead Attorney is speaking at. It's this weekend, and then it's been. I don't remember other cities, but yes, it does move around. So yes, we are definitely open, and maybe if schedules align and our students are interested, we can have. In my mind, there's a men's event, there's a woman's event, and then there's like a mixer or something like that. I don't know. So many good things are coming. Thank you so much for the question, Brandon. We have Health Conscious Plus says, will weight be a part of the journey? This is an excellent question. I'm going to answer no specifically. However, we do know, I mean, Kevin always used to say fit, feminine, and friendly. And I raised my hand first to say, y'all, this is a struggle, for me. I have to be very mindful about it. And I know on my own health and wellness journey, especially when it comes to deportment, which is how you carry yourself, getting in and out of a chair, walking gracefully like a lady, carrying yourself in a certain way, it is more difficult when you're carrying around that extra weight. And I'm speaking for myself. But I wouldn't say that our students need to be at any particular weight in order to take this class. Just like refining with femininity and elegance and etiquette is a lifelong journey. For me, I accept that being mindful of my fitness is also going to be a lifelong journey. So I choose to walk and chew gum at the same time and work on both. But no, we're not going to be weighing anybody in the class. Lucy, what do you want to say about that?
And it's probably the discussion about weight is probably going to come up as we present those sessions. And I mean, we're probably going to talk about it, especially when we're talking about when you said movement and how easy it is to get in and out of, let's say, a sports car. Or if you go to Mykonos, going into a boat, how hard is it going to be when you're lighter than rather than heavier set. So those are things that are probably going to come up, but we're not going to focus on that yet. Perhaps later on we might have a I don't know, a chunk of the course be about mental health, physical health, everything health. But at this point, we don't yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say part of the community, because this will be lifetime access for our students. And we know that um, I will say, whenever you struggle with something, it could be, any behavior change, right? Let's say you spend too much, you drink too much, whatever. Going back to that network and that circle of friends that are kind of moving you in the right direction instead of keeping you where you are, we are always going to be mindful of our fitness. And so we want to encourage our students to do that in a way that works for them. Thank you for the question. Wilbert has another question. He says, is there a part of the class that teaches women to unlearn how society teaches women to act and think? This is a huge part of it. And for me, this is probably the biggest part. I see it in three components. I talked a little bit about this. And I know sometimes when people think mindset, it's kind of hoo hoo ha ha stuff. And it's not that at all. But it really is, for me, about making a decision. For example, I know that I am a relationship girl. So for me, anything casual doesn't make sense because it's a waste of time for me, because ultimately what I want is long term in relationship. And so it's not about judging anyone who does it differently, but for me, hot girl summer makes no sense. So I make a decision to move in a kind of way that promotes this kind of behavior instead of that kind of behavior. The question that you're asking, Wilbur, is a fair one, but because the mindset and making that decision that, okay, this is the goal that ultimately that I want, kind of that's my North Star. So everything that I do and showing up consistently in that way needs to be baby steps getting me towards that. So we are going to teach the women to think about, and that's what the survey is going to help with. Ultimately, how do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be when you grow up? And so all of the steps that we take should help us get there. And a big part of that is unlearning. The fact that we're talking about femininity at all means that it's something real. There's a part of society that's just like, you're just a human, you're just a vessel, you're just whatever. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think women are naturally gifted at some things, and there's some things we struggle with. And I think likewise for men, there's some things that they're naturally gifted at, and there's some things that they struggle with. And I think we are better together. But yes, it's going to be very hard for any student to just say, okay, teach me what to do, and I'll add that on. You're really going to have to do an assessment, decide this is what you want, look at where you are right now, remove the things that are getting in the way of that so that you can start moving in the direction that you want. Lucy, what do you want to add to that?
You're absolutely right. It has to do with moving with intention. At the end of this behavior, at the end of this action, what do I want the result to be? Do I want it to be a positive result, or do I want it to be a negative result? There's another saying that says, you are the total of the choices that you've made throughout your life. So when you are my age, when you're 57, almost 60, how do you want to be? Do you want to be a happy grandma just with your husband around, caring for your grandchildren or so forth? Or do you want to be alone, lonely, with your cats around and nobody else around you? So that's where you're probably going to have to really look inside yourself and say, what is it that I want to be, my life to be in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, and so forth. So it's moving with intention.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited, to check in with our students as our community grows and have those wins and then be honest about those setbacks. You know what, y'all, I kind of put my foot in my mouth. I messed up. This is what happened. This is what I need to do better, because it is a journey. Thank you all so much for the questions. Hopefully we got to them. I don't see any more, so I'll go back to the survey. But again, if you have any questions, this is you all's opportunity. Drop them in the chat, or you can click on the link if you want to be camera on or you want to be camera off. Lucy and I will do these, twice a month or so to offer this free service to anyone who has questions about the work that we're doing. All right, so let's go back to the form here. You all can see This is where we left off. I'm asking the ladies to rate their wife readiness, and I want them to answer this so that we can help them prepare if that's what they want. Of course, the hot button issue. What is your timeline? If marriage is important to you, are you looking to do that quickly, or do you have a few years that you wanna wait? Lucy and I believe in prioritizing relationships, but again, depending on age, you may have more time than others. I see Condemned here. He says, please invest in your future. Yeah. You're going to spend your time and you're going to spend your resources doing something. And, even though we are promoting our course, I would just encourage you, ladies, you will age. Winter is coming. It's back to school time. The holidays are going to be coming soon. It's going to be another trip around the sun, another year around the sun. And I always remember how Kevin used to ask, what do you want life to look like when you're 40? When you're 50, when you're 60. I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure Lucy and I can very well remember our 20s and 30s and thinking whatever we thought. And now here we are. But we are very happy with where we are and looking forward to aging gracefully. So I'm really happy about that. All right, so let's see. Did I miss something? Oh, there's some questions. Yes, questions take priority. Brandon is back again. He says, ladies, have you received any negative comments, bad publicity, or threatening dialogue since you first announced the launch of this finishing school? If yes, what was the worst thing mentioned? Wow, I'm happy to say I have heard absolutely nothing. Now, I will say this. I think because the way Lucy and I present this as we are making this service available for the ladies who want it. We don't do any type of bashing or saying you have to do this or need to do this. Nobody has to do anything. This is just something we feel very passionate about. I think also because we are respected in the community. We're both YouTubers. We're both, very active in this space. And I think our reputation and the way we show up consistently has given credit to the work that we want to do. Um, in this space, without naming any names, there has been a lot of talk about different schools that, oh, I'm going to put this together, oh, I'm going to do that. And so um, that was probably a concern of mine that this would be lumped into like another flash in the pan. But we do these Q&As and share what we've been working on and show up in our teacher uniform for you all so you all can see that we are taking this seriously. And I hope to earn, if we haven't earned it yet, earn the respect and the support, whether you enroll in the school or not. But just know that there's so much talk about what's wrong. We definitely wanted to offer something that could help make it right. Lucy, did you want to add anything to that?
That's a great question, and I haven't heard anything yet. However, I'm thinking that because it's still a small um, venture, it hasn't gotten around that long or that much. I'm thinking that once it starts growing, there will always be those that think that they can do better, and if they can, that's great. And there are going to be those that don't agree with the message, but you know what? That's how it is. You know, some people are going to agree, some will not, and life goes on. But at this point, we've been very lucky to not have had any kind of negative um, responses or pushback on this idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So, fingers crossed, and we're just going to keep going. But to Lucy's point, this is starting small, but believe me, we have big goals and big dreams. And, I'll share with you all. We've worked with an attorney, you all know Lauren, or she's going to be one of our guest speakers to just help us get all of our ducks in a row and make sure we're trademarked and copywritten and all of that. And she shared something with me. She's one of my consults and she's in her 30s. And she's actually shared that there are so many women that, for whatever reason, maybe they prioritized career, maybe it was hot girl summer turned into a hot girl decade, I don't know. But there's an awakening coming, right? We've just been going so hard, swinging so far to whatever direction, right? And ultimately, in your quiet time, we all have to decide, am I happy with the choices that I've made? And, she said something that struck me about, a lot of us are having to take that long, hard look in the mirror. What am I doing? And, is it making me happy? So we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere. This is our life's work. We've got a lot of other things in the pipeline. And so thank you for the question. And I'll ask for you all's continued, covering and protection as well. So we've got Shantia Frazier. She says, how do you feel about arranged marriages? My 21-year-old mentioned that she likes the idea. This is really interesting to me. And honestly, y'all, there's a part of me. So I was born in Ghana, West Africa. I come from a traditional African home, but raised in America. So sometimes I'm conflicted with my traditional upbringing, and then just being like a modern American woman. So I always have that internal like and so like my knee jerk gut reaction is like I believe in love, and I want the Disney, and I want the Prince, and I want to be swept off of my feet, and it's going to be love at first sight. Those of us that have been married, there are moments like that in marriage. There's a pastor that I used to listen to said, there's nothing better than a good marriage, and there's nothing worse than a bad marriage. And when you're married, it goes in cycles, right? So all that to say, I support it now because I know better. And one of the flaws, if I may, that we have sometimes as Americans is thinking that our Western way of thinking is the only way. And there are so many other cultures in the world working in IT. I have a lot of friends from India. I've been to beautiful like Muslim weddings and so many different celebrations of life and love. And when you open your mind up to realize, especially in relationship and marriage, it's not just about you and your happy heart. You're bringing two families together. There may be children, there may not be, but you're really building a bond. And even though, unfortunately for me, my marriage ended in divorce, my ex-husband and I were at Marcus's school tonight. It was curriculum night, walking the hallways, talking to his teachers. We're forever family. We co-parent really well. So all that to say, I remember fighting it when, my parents wanted to introduce me to somebody. I thought, oh no, they're going to give me some old fuddy-duddy. But I think about it now. Your parents do want the best for you. And a lot of times, arranged marriage just makes it seem like you don't have a say in the matter. But really, it's an arranged introduction. You still get to decide if this is what you want to do or not. So, long winded answer, I support it. What do you say, Lucy?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I think that if it works for you, it works. I'm thinking about my first marriage. I can tell you that if I would have listened to my parents, I would have not spent 11 years in the situation that I was in. So, in a way, parents know best. And unfortunately, with the Western environment where you get bombarded with other thoughts, while you're thinking about getting married, and thinking about a relationship, it's a lot of distraction. I think that if I would have listened to my parents, it would have been different. And my parents love my husband now, so they can tell a good egg from the start, and it's up to us to allow our parents to say, yeah, they're making sense. But when we're young, fall in love, and we see what nobody else sees. But I think that as old as I am, I think arranged marriages probably would work, especially with how out of control society is now.
Thank you for the question, Shanti. I love the questions, you all. Thank you so much. Everyone just checking in. Oh my goodness. BLJ says it will be announced at the conclave by a multitude of high level content creators, so the word will get out soon. Are you talking about the finishing school? Is he talking about the finishing school?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are so incredibly humbled and grateful. I mean, you all, this community is where we announced it and where we get the word out. You know, different things are being presented to us. You know, who knows? This may be something that we do in private settings with church groups or corporate groups or whatever. But if you all like the work that we're doing and there's an avenue to share it, please share the link, send them our way, send them these replays. And we're going to be here. Our first cohort starts on this Saturday, but we will build our alumni of students. And we actually have some public facing and some private facing stuff that we're going to do to support this because we believe in it so strongly. Thank you. Thank you for the joke, Sunspot. Yeah, trip me up. I know. I have my moments. I'm still a girl. I'm still a girl. Hello, Michael. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Work from home wife says, I love arranged marriages. Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael says arranged marriages were between families with single mother families. Where are the fathers at? Yeah. I'm actually going to go back to the survey and we'll talk about that. There's been such a breakdown of what has worked for so long, and we're trying to do this newfangled thing, and obviously we're not doing a good job at it at all. And I think you all know Lucy and I have such huge respect for the men in this community, the men in our lives. And again, there are so many reasons for why you would want to refine, but I know I started my journey. I'll be a little bit transparent with you all. So my guy, he's high value now, but when I met him, he was, I guess, Henry or coming up. And I remember he was being groomed for a VP position at work. And if you know anything about me, you know I have a silly side, a very silly side, especially when I get excited in the kitchen. And I know that that's not always appropriate. And so I took it upon myself I actually heard it from Kevin Samuels. He talked about Anna Bay and how she had refined. And so I signed up for her course and then another course and another course and multiples. But I wanted to make sure that I would not do anything that would um, bring shame or embarrassment, even if I didn't mean to. Sometimes, our behavior is not um, always appropriate. And I wanted to show up as the best version of myself because I knew he was going to be in these type of circles. And so I started this work and I'm just a few steps ahead, but continuing to get better. But I believe that what we do in respect of our men, for me, it comes back so many times in return because he noticed. He was like, something's different. I said, yeah, I've been taking these classes. My communication got better. My posture got better. He's like, I'm proud of you. So anyway, just a little bit of my why, if you will. Yeah, yeah, rejecting the new stuff. All right, let's go back to the survey so you all can see. And again, we dropped the link in the chat so you all can see. This is the pre-assessment that we're putting for all of our students, but we've given you all access to it as well. And we talked about relationships and if our students are already in a relationship or if they'd be interested in an introduction. You just never know who may know somebody that is, somebody that you might have something in common with. I'm also asking our students, do they have any children? Do they want any children? We all know this is important. And so I wanted to go ahead and find out where we are with, ready-made families. But like we talked about with marriage back in the day, I firmly believe that your family of origin, it does matter. And so I want to know, if your parents are still married or were they married to each other? And then also, do they get along with each other? Because that kind of shapes, shout out to Miley, you all saw me coach her when I was talking on Lead Attorney's channel. Um, I do believe that our relationship example from our family of origin shapes a lot of what we do and who we are. Lucy and I both come from traditional nuclear families, and there's just so much that you're taught without even being taught. And so it's important to me kind of what our students know about family and what they think about family to start. Anything you want to add to that, Lucy?
Yeah, the fact that we had our parents as our examples. I mean, my parents have been married 59 years. So that's a long time together. That's a lot of ups and downs in the family. And we've seen them go through those ups and downs and that they never gave up on each other. That says a lot. And I think that we need to start um, learning about what it is to respect those marriage vows, for better, for health, richer, for poor, till death do us part. It seems that now those vows mean, until the next time that I'm not happy. And those are things that we learn by watching our parents go through some stuff, two civil wars, different countries going in and out, my mom struggling with five kids, all over the place without learning the language, and they stuck together. That says a lot, and that teaches the kids, yeah, my parents stuck through it, we need to stick through it this time as well. So I think that, yeah, it's important to start going back to the more traditional two parent household examples.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you all may know I'm a boy mom, two teenagers, 14 and 16. And, our oldest has his first little high school girlfriend now. And so I try to use every moment as I can as a teachable moment. I'm still struggling, y'all. One thing you probably will never see is a parenting class from me because we take it one day at a time. But, I have talked to him about and thank God for Kevin Samuels, who talked about how young men really need that time to build themselves. And I've talked to him about you're going to build the life that you want, and then you're going to choose the type of woman that you want to bring who's going to get on your program. This is what you're going to be expected to do, and you need to have expectations for her as well. But I've told both of the boys, choose who you want to, whatever she looks like. That's for you to choose. But one thing that I do advise them, make sure she comes from a good family. And I know sometimes people say, well, it wasn't my fault or this happened or that happened. That's true, but we all have some advantages and we all have some disadvantages. And so, seeking out what you're lacking is going to be a huge step if that's something you have to overcome. Because just like what Lucy said, my parents have been together over 50 however many years now. And when you see a couple, and it's not always rainbows and butterflies, but when you see sometimes we can take the nice vacation, sometimes we have to stay close to home. Sometimes we can go out to eat, sometimes, well, we're my mom, it was always a home cooked meal. Sometimes, you can get the name brand. Sometimes you have to get the off brand. But when you see a couple working together and raising a family and sacrificing, it does something to you. Just the appreciation that I have for hard work, for delayed gratification, for getting knocked down and getting back up. And even still, unfortunately, like I said, I am a divorcee, but my dad, when I was that bullheaded one, and he would ask me, "What does your husband say about it?" And I was one of those women like, "What do you mean?" But, just the example for the order in the family and the headship, and it matters. And so, if I can help any of the younger women, learn from our mistakes, and I do believe that is our role as older women to teach the younger women what we've gotten right and what we have gotten wrong. So, let's see what else is here on our survey. So we're asking about their family of origin and just siblings, because I want to know, if they're only children or if they, are used to sharing. You don't always get what you want when you want it. Our culture today is kind of like, if I'm not happy, nobody's happy. That's not normal. Let's see, what else we're asking our students. I do want to know if they work outside of the home, just so we know if they're, working from home. And I want to know if they enjoy what they do, whether it's at home or outside of the home. Then I'm also asking, are you open to any networking introductions from the finishing school? A big part of what we do is going to be community, and you never know who knows somebody who could make a huge difference in your life. Last few questions, I'm asking if they have a personal network or a professional network, and does it support their goals? So many of our young people, especially women too, it's like we get caught up in this group think, almost like the mean girls, right? I struggled with that. I'll speak for myself. I know I've always been very domestic and very like nurturing, and that's just who I am. But working in corporate, I had to kind of like put that Maggie on the shelf, and so I knew I kind of had my game face on. But now at my old age, I'm just like, this is me. I'm putting this apron on. This is what we're going to do, because it brings me so much joy. But I worry, and my heart goes out to women who, the image that is out there now does not reflect who they are inside, but they get caught up in thinking that's how you are supposed to act as a woman. You are supposed to wear clothes that show everything skin tight. You are supposed to drop F bombs and other bombs, as part of your regular speech. You are supposed to shout and compete with men and get violent because that's what they've seen. And so that's just what they do. So for those women that want to move away from that, those are the ones that I want to wrap my arms around and say, it doesn't have to be that way. It may be lonely at first, but believe me, it'll be so much better. Last question we ask them is, what is your biggest refinement obstacle? And how can Maggie and Lucy help you? So this is the pre-assessment. So for any of our enrolled students, the dashboard is open for you to go ahead and fill out your assessment before class on Saturday. So we wanted to give you all a little insight into that. Lucy, did you want to add anything?
I just put up, she tries question. She says, oh, sorry. Thank you, ladies, for putting this course together. My apologies if you ladies already answered this. I've been in and out of the Q&A. How long will this course be available? So want to go ahead and take it, Maggie?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll pull this up and show you guys the registration page. So just to answer your question, so this is an 8-week live taught private course. We will be teaching on Saturdays, usually Saturdays, 12 noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, 9 a.m. Pacific. All of the sessions will be recorded so that if you miss any of the live instruction, you will be able to watch and rewatch any of the sessions, because ladies, it's a lot, and even I have to refresh myself. All of our students will have lifetime access to the curriculum. So let me show one other thing that might also help. So all right, so we took a look at the curriculum here, and then as far as purchasing, and you all can click on this, the link is in the description. You can preview anything that we've turned on for you. The class for full access is $499. You all can see here. This includes access to the 8 weeks of teaching, the 8 slide decks, the 8 custom workbooks, the Q&A, the guest speakers, lifetime access, the community, and then access to Lucy and I to be able to ask your questions and get coaching in real time. So you'll see here that it shows that this is going to expire when class begins, because class begins on Saturday. So that price will go away, and we've been told this is very affordable for what you all will get. And if you want, I can show you more of that. There are payment installments if you're interested. You also have the option to buy bundles. So if you don't want the entire 8-week sessions, you can get, as you can see here, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 7 and 8. You will have lifetime access to the sessions that you bundle, but you will those will go away as the class begins. So after Saturday, you won't be able to get all 8 sessions. If you're ready, you can enroll now, or you can add your name to the email list, so when we come out with something new. Now, I know our students will have lifetime access. Our plan for right now is to have rolling enrollments. So as of Saturday, enrollment for this session, our first session, will close because we start teaching on Saturday. So it'll be all of September and all of October, ending with our guest speaker. Then we have something very special planned. We know November and December are heavy holiday months. So we'll be here in some type of fashion with Q&As and different things like that. And then we will open up enrollment again for a new class to start. I'm making this up, let's say January and February. So there will be multiple 8-week sessions, but each one will be different because the students that are in there are going to drive the tweaks in the curriculum. I hope that answers the question. Lucy, did you want to add anything?
No, I think you've answered it all. And again, if you miss the Saturday class, you will have the recording, and then you can join us for the next session, starting January, for that one live session that you missed. You can attend the live session for the next round. So you won't be missing anything. The only thing is that probably if you don't attend the live, you're going to get a recording, but you are a lifetime student once you've paid for your tuition. Unmute yourself.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels. I'll hop over, and we've gone over the Q&A deck before, but I'll just kind of gloss through it so you all can see what's included. We don't have a confirmed date for the next session after this Saturday. I would guess it's probably going to be in 2024, because this course is going to take us from September 9th, which is this Saturday, lesson 1, to October 24th. So it's going to be once a week for 8 weeks. And then, because November and December are heavy holiday months, like I said, we'll be here in some fashion, but there probably won't be another class until next year.
Maggie, I'm going to get myself out for a little bit. I have something in the kitchen. I hear my husband uh,
Okay, do we
smelling
need to go ahead
around.
and wrap
So
up?
I'm just going to mute myself and put my camera off so I can go take a look and see what he's looking for.
Okay, no problem. So if there's any other questions, you guys can put them in the chat. We'll go about 5 more minutes so that Lucy can tend to her husband. I'm going to pull up the slides from the last Q&A and just kind of go through them quickly so that you all can see. I know we have new people every time, and you all can see what is included. All right. So thank you all. Yes, crawl before you walk. Absolutely. Have fun the whole time. We're really excited about this, you all. Lucy and I have been working very hard all summer. We would meet multiple times to go through the curriculum, and really wanted to put our heart and the soul into something that would be a legacy for us. There she is. Okay, so let's see. What do I want to... I am going to go to the Canva. Okay, so we've done this before, but this is the Q&A slides that we put together so you all know who we are. Welcome, ladies, again. Ask us anything. We're going to be talking about, in our course, if you want to be more feminine, if you want to be more elegant, if you want to learn how to have better etiquette, then our course is going to be for you. We've already talked about who we are. Some of you all know us, some of you all are new to me and Lucy. All right, so I'm going to go through the who, what, when, where, and why pretty quickly. So, what is included? We've already talked about this 8 weeks, each week a different lesson, 60 minutes of lecture, 30 minutes of Q&A. Will be recorded for lifetime access, corresponding custom workbooks so that you all can take notes that correspond with the slide deck. So if we say we're on page 6 on the slides, you'll have page 6 on your workbooks to make it personal, and those will belong to you. When is the class? We've talked about it. So it's going to be Saturday school. So pretty much wherever you live, school is in session for the kiddos. So you will be in school with us on Saturdays for the most part. Where? From the comfort of your home or whatever device you have. We would encourage that you ladies take this from either a laptop, tablet, or desktop, because we are going to be sharing content. It's going to be a little bit difficult on the phone to follow along. We would also encourage our students, go ahead and download your workbooks. We'll probably make that open and available to you. If you want to print them out and write longhand, you can, or you'll be able to just type on them in your PDF viewer. Why? We've talked a lot about the why. I always love to know from you all, why do you think this finishing school is necessary? How do I register? The link is in the description, and you can do the entire 8 weeks, which gives you lifetime access, or the bundles if you just want to learn about, let's say, dining and social media. I'm making it up. Then you can choose which ones you want to be involved in. The last thing I am so excited about just sharing with you all quickly, in addition to Lucy and I, we have a huge network so far just of ladies that we're going to bring into the community. And those of you all that enroll in all 8 sessions, whenever we have a guest speaker, this is included in your tuition. So I won't go through all of these, but Lauren is our business law attorney. She is going to speak to us about um, she's a digital nomad, so she lives everywhere, but making sure that you're protected, staying safe. We talked about that. Her own personal journey, but balancing that femininity with a very masculine role as an attorney. This is our first speaker, Sarah. She is a former ballroom dancer. She has a course on how to walk in heels, and she's going to talk to us about feminine movement and feminine gestures and how our deportment is going to support the work that we do. My personal stylist, Ria, I struggled with just getting whatever was clean and comfortable. And Ria told me, every time you step outside, someone is seeing you for the first time. So she is going to come speak to us about your capsule wardrobe and making sure that you are instantly elegant. My photographer, Caitlin, also a wife and mother, she has taught me so much and helped me take really good pictures. A lot of times when you all say, oh, you look so good on camera, I've learned what to do. So Caitlin's going to come teach our students as well. Hospitality, Christine was on my team. I was an executive for the Coca-Cola company before the pandemic. She managed our food and beverage. If you need to know how to host a dinner party, wine etiquette, just some basic things so that you're comfortable in a restaurant, what to expect. Christine is going to come talk to our students about hospitality. And you all know her and you love her. AV, also a content creator. She actually is a huge home decor fan. If you've seen her channel, it's always decorated so beautifully. She is going to speak to our students about making your home a warm and welcoming space. So I just wanted to run through that. Let me pause right now and see if there's anything else. Or Lucy, did you want to add anything to that?
The amount of networking that you've done, Maggie, and your friends coming through for you is amazing. Anytime we're working on the content, and she would send me either a direct message or an email about somebody that she thought about coming in as a guest. Amazing women. All your guests are incredible, and they're probably going to have a lot of new things, for at least for me, to learn from them.
Absolutely. So hopefully that answers you all's questions. That's pretty much what we had tonight. We're going to do these Q&As from time to time. Right now, about twice a month. We have some other things planned for you all, but this is our last Q&A before class begins on Saturday. So again, I will drop the link to the registration page. If anybody knows any ladies who are interested in becoming a better version of themselves. If you think that Lucy and I could be good teachers for you, we would love to lock arms and help you have a community of women who support because we're continuing to learn as well. We have we're not perfect, but we're working on ourselves every day. Please continue to share the course, share the page. You all can have your friends or yourself add yourself to the email list on that same link. That way, when we have new things to announce, you'll be the first ones to know. We already have something planned for November, but I'm going to hold tight on it, and you all will be hearing about that very soon. And please check us out on YouTube or any other social media.
Vanessa's question is it's great.
So Vanessa says, "Hello, Maggie and Lucy. Can someone who is already married join the school?" Absolutely. As a young wife, I sometimes feel that I could improve myself for the benefit of the family, my husband, and I want to build. Yes, yes, and yes. And we will end on that. I don't know if you heard my story. Thank you, Vanessa. But yeah, I decided to take this journey for myself because I wanted to be a better woman for my man, and I had a start, but I can definitely refine. So yes, 15 to 50 is our age range for right now. You can live anywhere as long as you have access to the internet. We've created the curriculum for you. You'll create your username and password. Class starts on Saturday. We'd love to have you all live. If you need to watch the replay, it will be available for you. And yes, of any relationship status, single, married, divorced, um, in a relationship, it applies just to being the best version of yourself. Thank you for the question. Team Peterson sends a salute to Maggie and Lucy for making women great again. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have questions, you can reach us at finishingschoolmodernwoman@gmail.com or my YouTube channel, Lucy's YouTube channel, Instagram. You all know how to reach out to us. So for our students, we are so excited. We cannot wait for Saturday. So many good things to come. Go ahead and log into your dashboard. Go ahead and take the assessment so that we know how to customize for you. You all please continue to share and support. Lucy, did you want to say anything to close us out?
Thank you for supporting us throughout this journey. It's going to be great, and it's going to get better. And we are, each of us are indeed trying to make women great again.
I'll say this, we're trying to make women women again. So let me go ahead and wrap before I get in trouble. Thank you all so much. We will see you again. We don't have another Q&A on the calendar, but maybe we'll do something. You'll be hearing something soon. But for our students, we will see you Saturday. All right, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you.
All right, 2 days left if you want to register. Bye.
Bye.